Greetings, guitar engineers. I'm Desi Cerna, and in this free guitar lesson, I'm going to explain what slash chords are, why composers use them, and when you might choose to skip them while reading a chord chart. Let's dive in. First off, the term slash does not refer to the guitarist known as Slash of Guns N' Roses fame. The term slash refers to the use of a forward slash in a chord name, such as G/B, or C/G, or D/F sharp. Whenever a chord name includes a forward slash, the letter before the slash is the basic chord, and the letter after the slash is the alternate bass note. Normally, when you play a G chord, you have a G note in the lowest or bass position. The chord G/B is a G chord but with a B note in the bass position. This means you would begin strumming on B and leave the G note below it, as well as the sixth string, out. You can also play this chord by fretting the third fret of the second string like this. You would call any version of a G chord with B in the bass G/B or G over B or G with B in the bass. G/B is used often on guitar. A few examples include Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin, and Tom Sawyer by Rush. Using G/B in these cases makes for a nice step-down motion. Notice how the B note bridges the gap between C and A. This same type of movement is often done using the chords G, D/F sharp, and E minor. The F sharp note is the third of the D chord. There's F sharp, F sharp, F sharp. I like to use my thumb to fret the F sharp. And sometimes I mute the fifth string, or technically the A note is part of a D chord, so you could strum all strings and let them all ring in this chord. Others would prefer to use their index finger for the F sharp and then their remaining fingers to build the D shape. And some people would leave the first string out completely so that they can just play this portion of the D chord and then grab the F sharp with their index finger. The first three chords in Free Bird by Lynyrd Skynyrd are G, D, and E minor, and if you listen carefully, the D actually has an F sharp in the bass position. AC/DC's Highway to Hell also uses a D/F sharp in the key of A, along with the chords A and G. Some common alternate bass notes for a C chord include C/G and C/E. To play a C/G, you can just grab the G note on the sixth string, and then your pinky can take over for the C on the fifth string. To play C/E, just finger a regular C chord, but include the open sixth string E. The first two chords heard in the verses to Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd are C and D, and if you listen carefully, they are actually C/G and D/F sharp. Using these alternate bass notes gives the chords a lower tonality and makes a more interesting sound in the low end. C/E is used in Plush by Stone Temple Pilots. So that's G, D/F sharp, F, C/E, E flat major 7, finally an F brings you back to G. C/E is used again later in the song's bridge. Sometimes slash chords are created when two different instruments are combined. For example, in the bridge to Jessie's Girl by Rick Springfield, some instruments are pedaling on a G note in the bass while chords are being played over the top. So I used my looper pedal to record me pedaling on a G note here in the bass position. And then I came up here and played the chords G, D, and A. But technically, because your ear is hearing G in the bass position the whole time, you're hearing the chords G, D/G, and A/G. Now sometimes alternate bass notes can be left to bass players. Let me give you an example of when you might do that. Here's a little bit of the interlude section to the song I'm Yours by Jason Mraz. So I'm using the chords B, F sharp/A sharp, G sharp minor, F sharp, and E. These chord changes are based on a descending scale in B major. The F sharp/A sharp chord could be played using some different forms from the Cage system. Here's F sharp in C form with the alternate bass note A sharp in the bass. Here's F sharp in D form with A sharp in the bass. Here's F sharp in E form with A sharp in the bass. If you're familiar with the Cage system, then you should recognize these shapes. But they're still kind of tricky to play. So another option is to play a regular plain F sharp major chord and let the bass player play the A sharp note. So I have recorded myself playing the bass line. It's in my looper. I'm going to play along with it. I'm going to play a regular F sharp major, but your ear is still going to hear F sharp/A sharp because the A sharp is in the bass line. So when you strum chords in a band situation with a real bass player, it may not matter whether you play alternate bass notes or not. So keep this in mind anytime you play a song from chord charts and a bass player is present. Anytime you see a slash chord, you could simply play the basic chord before the slash and let the bassist play the note after the slash. In many cases, there's just no need to play twister with your fingers trying to grab an alternate bass note if the bassist is going to play that note for you. Let's take a look at a few examples so you can see what I mean. And I've chosen a couple of church songs since this is something church guitarists often have to deal with. Here's a chart we use at my church to play the song 10,000 Reasons. And what I want to point out here is that we have some slash chords. I'll start here in the chorus. We've got C, G, there's a D/F sharp, and then it goes to E minor. And let me just play a portion of this for you really quick. So we have a D/F sharp in here, but I've seen arrangements of this song that have a regular D. So in this case, they are interchangeable, and if you're uncomfortable playing the D/F sharp, or if you're in another key and that particular slash chord is more difficult to play, you could just skip it and just play the basic chord. Now later when you get to the end of the chorus, here you have the chords C/G, G, C/G, G. So one way to do this is to play your G chord like this with fingers 2, 3, and 4. And then you can use your first and second fingers to move to a portion of the C chord, but you can leave the G in the bass, and you can leave the G on top as well. It has a nice sound. That would be a C/G, and then back to G. C/G, back to G. But another option, especially if you have a piano or a bass player that's also playing at this moment and playing that G note in the bass, is you could just simply ignore the alternate bass note and just play the chords C and G. If there's another instrument playing that G note in the bass, then your chords are gonna sound like C/G to G. What if you're using the number system, which is a very popular way to chart songs? Well, here's another example. This is He Will Hold Me Fast. And let's start here maybe in the verse and take a look at these changes. We have the 1 chord, then we have 1/3, 4, 4/6, 5/7, back to 1. So this necessitates that you know a little bit of music theory and you understand the construction of the major scale. If I'm in the key of G, 1 is G, 1/3, well the third would be B, so that's the 1 chord with B in the bass. Then you go to the 4 chord, C, 4/6, well C is 4, E is 6 in the scale, so that's a C/E. 5/7 would be D/F sharp, 5, the 5 chord is D, and the 7th note in the scale is F sharp, and then you're back to 1. Now, playing the chords this way has a nice sound, and it is an important way in how the song was composed. But if you're playing with a piano player or a bass player and they are playing those alternate bass notes, then you could ignore everything that comes second in the slash chords and just play the basic chords that come before the slash. This is a smart way to simplify a song in order to make the chart easier to read, to make the chords easier to finger, and often it can allow you to have smoother transitions between your chords because you don't have to fuss with grabbing those alternate bass notes. The alternate bass notes are still going to be heard by the other instruments, and smart players take advantage of this. This goes for electric guitar as well. When you know that other instruments are taking care of the bass notes for you, then you have freedom to play just the basic chords or to experiment with different chord shapes and voicings. I recorded myself with my looper playing the bass line. I'm going to play over it now with some basic chords, and I'll move around the neck to show you how you can add variety. All right, well this concludes my free lesson on using slash chords. If you found this video helpful, click like and leave me some positive feedback. If you have questions, post them in the comments below and I'll reply. Perhaps this lesson is exactly what you need to be learning right now, or maybe your playing needs attention in other areas. If you need help determining what you should specifically be working on right now in order to play guitar better, go to my website, guitarmusictheory.com. Answer the questions I ask you about your playing, and I'll send you free custom video instruction calibrated to your current level. I'll put you on the right track so you can move forward with your playing and reach your music goals. Go to guitarmusictheory.com to enroll in your free video course now. You can click on the link in the video description. Well, thanks for watching. I'm Desi Cerna. Before you go, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Click on the notification bell to receive alerts when new videos are uploaded. Then keep playing and stay tuned for more.